So you guys ready?
Yep. As soon as that says so.
All right.
As soon as that says so.
All right. That's weird. Why is it? Stand by, we're on YouTube. Okay, everyone, sorry about the technical difficulties. We had two things running. All right. Good evening. Today is February 9th. And stand by, we are still having issues. All right, let's try this. Third time's a charm. Okay. Good evening. Today is February 9th, 2026. The Mid-Rogue Fire District Board of Directors will now call this meeting to order at 5:32. Do a roll call, please, for the directors present.
Director Benetti,
Present.
Director Weidling,
Present.
and Director Jones.
Present. And staff present, Cassie Austin. We have two board members that have indicated they are running late, so once they arrive, we'll jump in and continue on with this. Sounds like they just pulled in now. So if everyone will stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. And moving into item 2, approval of the agenda. There are a couple items that we would like to add under new business. One being the setup and use of some sort of either laserfish or storage location for all of our records to be stored on and digitally accessible to the entire board. So we will add that to item B. We will call that, should we call that digital storage?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll add item E, and that will be discussion of a vehicle acquisition resolution. All right. So I would entertain a motion to approve as amended.
Add an amendment.
Huh?
Add additional amendment.
You have an additional? Okay, go ahead.
So discuss the resolution allowing the board president position to speak to legal counsel without coming back to the board. But,
Allowed board president to seek legal counsel without board approval?
yeah, the way I termed it was about the board president position, the ability to utilize legal counsel for board specific duties without coming back to the board for approval.
Okay.
Keeps it from being on you alone if it's not our resolution.
Correct. Okay.
If we need to put the employee manual on there, because that's something that thought about anything out there.
Okay.
We can add it if you want to.
No, that's fine. We can do that under committee reports.
Okay.
Okay, so we are adding items D, E, and F. All right,
So
so,
motion that we.
okay, I have a motion and a second to approve as amended. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Director McGowan? Director Benetti?
Yes.
Director Weidling?
Yes.
And Director Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, and we now have, for the record, we have Director McGowan and Director Owenby now present with us. And we'll move into item 3, approval of the minutes.
I have a minute, I changed this because I was wrong.
Okay, what are your changes?
Item 2, after Director Oldby needs to say yes. It doesn't have how we voted on it.
Okay.
And on B7B, those could be 1, 2, B, item C, request for approval of FDO conflict. There's who approved and who approved was in there twice after Director Gowan made a motion.
Got those corrections?
Yep.
It was a long one. All right, anything else?
Approve the minutes as modified.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended and seconded. Any further discussion? And I will abstain from voting since I was not here.
I'll just say abstain. I'll call you because you're present.
Okay.
Okay. Director McGowan? Director Benetti?
Yes.
Director Weidling?
Yes.
Director Owenby?
Yes.
And Director Jones?
Abstain.
Very good. Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Moving down to item 4, Secretary Treasurer Report.
All right, we had legal $200 expense to review the executive director definition. We have OFDDA dues $68.75, and we also received our first payment from Rural Metro, $2,500, which is current. Balance in checking at Evergreen is $298,815.58. And we have now $250.01. We gained 1 cent interest on our savings.
Sweet.
And LGIP, Mark and I did some work on that today. We think we have all the paperwork done and should be able to process that. And good.
Okay, tell me again
$200.
I do have a couple items to add, just so you're aware. The board approved the Microsoft Office subscription and the antivirus software, and both of those were purchased on Saturday with a subscription, renewable 1 year from Saturday. So 2/7/2027, those will be renewable. The software one is at $149 for a year, and Microsoft is $199.99 for a year.
Is that your card that you used for the?
Yes,
Okay.
and why did this, it's still up there, so we're good. It's still showing up there, which is weird.
I'll double check it too, make sure.
Yeah, it's still there, so might be the,
We are still live on YouTube.
yeah, okay, so we're good. Okay, and then, yeah, that's it for adding for that. Okay. So, any further reports from the Secretary and Treasurer?
That's it.
All right. Moving into item 5, public comment. Do anybody in the office, or no, nobody here to do public comment? So we'll slide into item number 6, new business. And we'll start off with 6A, committee reports. And we'll start with staffing.
As you saw the executive job posting out, I did have a question on the application. Is that accessible online from the website?
Yes,
I never saw the application.
it should be on the,
It's a little flip banner at the top of the
yeah.
website.
Well, so on the website, it has the posting. And if you go to the actual posting, there's the flyer, and then there's a download for the application, I believe, or should be.
Yeah.
Application.
It was a SDAO template, I believe. Let me pull up the website here, make sure that it's on there. If it didn't get on there, then,
Yeah, pulls the application.
okay.
So when I clicked on the application, that's the one that pulled up.
Actually, no, that was just a generic, that's a generic application. It wasn't, that one was not from SDAO, but it's a generic application just to be, because we needed one on there.
Okay. So from that, when their application is submitted, is that, where is that?
Well, they have to download that and fill it out and then submit all that either online or via mail or in person. Yeah. So, yeah, email to office@midroadfiredistrict.com, drop off at 5566 Monument Drive, or PO Box 635.
365,
What'd I say?
635.
Okay, 635.
And then it says deadline is by Saturday, February 4th.
I'm sorry, I didn't get this to Cassie earlier, distributed to review prior to, but it's a hiring timeline. Put together a draft. I think that's still relevant. And I'm open to that discussion on the application period, the conversation or a question to arise about do we extend it? I don't know that that's a need, but again, open to discussion. And then with the review, interviews, so it's the 16th to the 20th. Depending on the applicants, we could give ourselves a little bit of room there to extend that February 23rd to the 27th. And then with the consideration of the Zoom or teleconference interview for people that may apply to the area. From that board review, select an individual candidate, and the job offer, background and reference check, March 2nd through the 13th. Drug screening 16th through the 20th, and medical and drug screening. Now, medical and drug screening, can we discuss that for this level of position, what level of medical and drug screening? The target hiring completion by, with an offer of start date.
It's good. I would request that we do interviews the first week of March. And that's because a few questions have come up about when we were going to do them, people that wanted to apply. And they would possibly maybe be ready before then. So to keep it fair, I think we should shoot for the first week of March for interview question or interview.
the one thing I would caution is that if we start to make adjustments for one or two or three people, then we can eventually put ourselves in a position fair and equitable across the board.
Yeah.
Trying to manage, let's say, 10 applicants' schedules, because it's very difficult to navigate. So just be cautious in making adjustments, but also giving the full, we have some flexibility.
Yeah. So I would say first week of March would be great for the interviews, and then I don't think it's impossible to shorten like your background reference check. I don't think they take longer than 7 days. Just thinking that if we need to reduce it down, medical and drug screening could be shorter too.
Districts, it's an expanded ledge check, it's a background check, and it's a drug screening. Background checks in 48 hours. I think that, as far as a background check, is very relevant, it's valid, and it's accepted process among multiple organizations. I do think it would be strong value for us as government to do the reference checks.
Yeah.
To hear that feedback and then bring that back to the.
So that's going to take some time. People need to get those done.
I would say that it was more time consuming, more time invested to do reference checks. And I think that's where more time, more value in that time period.
And is that something that you and Randy committee's going to work on?
What's,
The reference, the actual reference check?
I think that what I would suggest that we could, or share that amongst all the board members. So
Well, it's depending on the number of applicants. Yeah.
So each board would have an opportunity to hear feedback from potential candidates on what their experiences are and who those others are. And we can share that.
Yeah.
So it's not just my interpretation of what I hear, and the interpretation of what he hears from these reference checks, but that each one of us has different ears and different perspective, different digesting of that information, and we share that collectively. And in that, I'm not going to say that I would understand this is the gospel of our town. I think we have some flexibility and we want to bring the best candidate for our needs of our district, our constituents moving forward. So if that means we need to make adjustments for our needs and what we want to process and evaluate, then I say that is our sole outcome. And we move that direction forward with the flexibility and then communicate that to the candidates.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out on vacation February 24th through March 10th, out of state.
Well, that much difference changes that.
The other thing I want to mention is, this was not posted on the first, was
Yes.
it? When it posted
No.
until the 5th.
Yeah.
And that is actually item B on our discussion this evening.
So we're already putting it here. The other thing is, we're spending $600 for 30 days through Western Fire Chief for the listing. I think we should take more advantage of it and just do.
Did we get it listed with Western?
I got it posted on Indeed. I apologize. I did not, no, that's my fault for assuming.
Would it be? I feel that we evaluate options, the marketing options that we have chosen, Facebook, Indeed. $600, in my opinion, is a lot of money. Posted in the job description. I know it reaches a wider berth, but I don't know.
It also could bring more work on us.
Essentially, I question whether for our intent purposes and our needs, is that the best investment? And will it reach the candidate, or would it expect an intent for our position, or specific job
Yeah.
description?
Well, we could always consider if what we got going right now doesn't work, then we can relist it and go.
And that's, I guess, right up at how my thought is that if we see and we get, have a varied enough interest, that, okay, we're not gonna say we can't repost this for another 30 days.
Yeah.
In the big picture, whether it was 60 or 90 days, I don't think that's an astronomical impact for us moving forward to really truly give the opportunity to get the most appropriate candidate.
The only critical timeline that we talked about last meeting with this piece was allowing enough time to get a proper budget set up. But we've already found out that we can, as long as we have a budget submitted, we can go back in and change that in the process. So I wouldn't be too worried about that timeline. That was the only reason we were focusing on trying to get April 1st out there so that it would be fair to that person to be able to get time to put a budget together.
I can tell you, I have it posted on Indeed. I did not create an account that charged the district money. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that without bringing it to you guys. With the free ad that I had put out, it ends tonight before it charges us, or I'd have to relist it, but we've reached over 549 people in their searches, and nobody has clicked submit on their application, so no applications on that.
Here's another view on it is, say we get 2 applicants, and then all of a sudden we decide, you know what, we want to put it out there further. Does that send a bad signal to the 2 applicants? I really think it does.
Yeah, I believe it does.
I think for the kind of money that we're willing to pay for this position, that we should do ourselves a benefit and try to reach more people. I'm not saying the $600 is a good or a bad thing. Well, we have different pricing for 2 weeks or whatever. But $600 for a position is going to pay around $100,000 a year. I think, that's.
So I did put it in the Courier, and that did have the deadline on there. So if we would do that, I would suggest relisting it in the Courier.
The deadline of February 14th.
Correct.
But to your thought, Randy, I can see it with that new present, but I also can see on the other side that if you go back out and it validates your process, meaning if it's one-on-one, you got one candidate, one applicant, does that truly validate a process? And I would agree.
But if you had 2 and they were qualified, then you did your background checks and hired them, still, that's a good process. I wouldn't say that we automatically re-advertise it. We had 7 applicants, and we only 12.
Oh, no, I think, there is no set in stone amount that we should have, obviously,
Yeah.
but,
Because this
this position's a pretty tough position.
it's a very unique position.
Yes, and I'm not thinking that any candidates that might be potential that I'm aware of don't qualify for that, but I also feel that, the district board member, I think it's important that we, see what's out there.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we have to take anybody else either. We could get candidates that just want to play the field and see what it's like, and we go, wow, this candidate's got a family of 4, they're going to move to, Josephine County, where things are sketchy,
Yeah.
maybe, and they might not like the school systems, and we don't have a tax base or anything, so.
They do that before they
Well,
apply.
we hope so, but that's something that we as a board need to kind of look out too, and maybe something we need to put in our questionnaire, if they're aware of that. Okay.
That's another way we can approach that is if our applicant's been pre-screened, meaning that we have an initial Zoom conference or a teleconference and we've got 2 or 3 questions. Did you do some research? What do you know about? Just to sort of maybe pare down and say, yeah, and say, okay, you really have a clear picture of what you need and what the future projection looks like for your investment with current structure.
One of the things I was going to ask you before I forget, on the background reference check, does that include credit check?
It can.
I would encourage, because this is a pretty important mission. If they can't manage their own finances, how are they going to manage ours?
That's definitely a plus.
So that would make me something we need to throw into that. This will happen in the background.
Well, the other thing is an employee manual, can't hire anything without an employee manual.
Yeah, but still,
You can, for this contract position, you don't need a still one person. In fact,
That was,
sidebar with SDAO. conversation about those, and highly recommend we track for an employee handbook for persons, especially the person to facilitate and lead
Yeah.
the district, that they definitely need to expand that, if they don't develop that employee handbook.
What about just the general employee obligations for the state of Oregon, drugs, use associated?
We can script our expectations of that employee through their job contract, for their, we offer the position, outline the contract, change their expectations, which could be, we could include some of the key elements of what an employee handbook would include. But trying to modify, creating an employee handbook is,
They are actually supposed to be doing it.
they should have a solo or an HR director, or
Yeah.
them working with SDAO's HR division. That's not a, I don't know if that's a task that we want to try to tackle, and what it would be fitting for one in the village. And they're not truly an employee, they're a contracted employee.
So I guess it wouldn't be an employee handbook, it would just be the
It's the
employment
expectation.
guidance that we have expectations.
It's an expectations for the contract.
Yeah.
We should probably,
Like, don't drive the district vehicles. You know, the general obligation things that are obviously,
The job description did a pretty good job of a lot of that,
yeah.
but.
We should also work on, start working on the contract language now, so that it can be finalized through legal also before it's presented to a applicant.
so is that something that the committee should work on, or do we need to work on as a board?
I think the staffing committee could create that and then bring it forward.
Maybe fire chief. The fire chief that does for fire chief jobs, they usually come with a contract.
But this is what I'm willing to,
So before we try to put a contract together, I think there's some efficient negotiation with the prospective candidate that they're gonna have a list of, here's what I need, here's what I want. And then we negotiate with our level.
But there's still got to be some basic language in there that, what the district wants, not just what they want. So we work on the language of what the district wants. Yeah, yeah, but in a contract form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, the job description expectations out.
Contract form, correct. Yeah. Okay,
But we have some work to do on our end before we even hire somebody.
yeah.
And I think
So- And so we'll, since it's on item B in our new business, we'll discuss that timeframe a little bit there. We'll go back into other committee reports. Do we have anything more on training or communications policy? I do have one question on training for you. That class that the three of us took up at the OFDDA, I'm going to pass this down to you. Did it cover all those sections in the first two? Because that was from SDAO for what the board. I know, and I'm trying to remember.
we haven't been through.
I was trying to remember if it covered all those. I believe it did. I just wanted to make sure that all that was covered in the basic one and then the second section down, just the
Might
top.
bounce that off of Sharon.
Yeah, just those front two sections there. I think that covered all of those pieces in there, right? Yes. Yeah. No, I think those are optional. I think 1 and 2 was the ones that we had to have, right? Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure.
So we did get into some HR
Yes,
of the which determination of diversity, inclusion, but I don't think we had all those topics. And the risk management, we talked about that. So we really got it from board member basis, effective and responsible.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were all covered. And then I think that online piece also covered most of that as well, but they broke it down differently in here, so I just wanted to make sure that it was covered. Okay, good. And let's see, communications, Director Weidling and myself Don't have anything further on that. Policy,
Nothing, I was gonna talk that maybe we need to create the employment policy, but at that discussion, I think we're clear on where we need to go.
okay?
Let me go back to that. If there's another thoughts and strong opinions about employee handbook and move into that, I question how that works. What is that? Is that effort really the strongest place for our work right now?
I think I agree with you in the fact that whatever we create is gonna be on the table to be redrawn as soon as that person starts on board, because the employee handbook is more a chief overseeing his employees, not the board overseeing the chief. Well, I agree with you, the contract or the job description is gonna be the basis of what we need, and I just hate to put all that effort into it and then have it completely thrown out and redrawn again.
Well, and as an executive director, then what the director requested to create that. Seems very difficult task on their plate, but again,
Yeah,
we have some really specific objectives we want to try to accomplish in a relatively short amount of time. So I think we're going to be positioned to really define what we identify as priority objectives. I mean, like with all of us, we've all had big experiences. You can put as much on your plate as you want, and they all feel like important objectives, and they do have relevance. But with the time that we're looking at to try to accomplish some major objectives, like we give permanent funding source, I think that in and of itself is
yeah, agreed.
a big enough chunk.
And moving into prevention,
Status quo?
status quo.
I haven't changed anything unless you've got something different.
The only thing, I was renewing my homeowner's insurance stuff, and I was talking to Nikki Applin, who's our agent, and I was telling, we were talking about house, home insurance and stuff. And I did say, she knows I'm on the board, and I said, we are looking at trying to do some digging into the insurance issue with the insurance commissioner. She was like, yeah, we need something.
Yeah,
And her son lives on 11th Street, and his insurance was canceled, right downtown,
in the 50s.
in the city.
Wow. Okay,
So, yeah, I've been seeing some articles. We're not the only ones in the state with those questions. Yeah, and following the insurance commissioner's office and reading some articles out of there, they're actually working on some things that are gonna help. But I wanna get involved with them to know that we wanna help create that instead of letting north end of the state take care of it for us.
yeah,
So,
okay. Anything to report from the vehicle acquisition team?
we do. Did we add that to, I wasn't here for the agenda.
Item E.
We do have an item on there. So vehicle acquisition, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Randy and I have been talking on and off about vehicles. We pretty much settled, we like the idea of a Tahoe-sized vehicle. With that? No, and with that, we're considering known issues with years, i.e. transmission issues, electronic issues. So we've pretty much come down to, we're looking at 2018 to do it, to avoid a lot of those older issues. And we're not set on Chevy platform. We are looking at Ford as an option out there as well. So anyway, yeah, we've been talking, but we don't have any decisions to throw in front of you yet, except for what we talked about. That new agenda.
I did have a conversation with James Wessel, who's the CEO for the Friendly Fire. And he got back to me, and he's a really decent individual. And he said that they just purchased a 23 Budget for $33,000, fully equipped, and it's through the fire chief in Mississippi, and they're very happy.
It's a 2023 what?
Fully equipped, yeah, to use one, it's a 20.
Yeah, a lot of departments have a certain date stamp or mile stamp that they have to get rid of. So 3 years, they gotta get them on.
What I got from him is I looked around, had some options, and it looks like we're seeing some decent rates in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. it is, is that within our budget? Well, I couldn't answer that question, but we haven't spoken, well, tonight. Says, I just bought a used command buggy for one of our chiefs in Mississippi and paid $33,000 for it, and I'm very happy with it, with what we got.
That seems to be in the fair market.
So 30 to 40 is kind of what I've seen and stuff, and we're gonna stay away from East Coast equipment primarily because some of the salt will kill us.
Salt.
I could check with my old department, they have a whole lot of command vehicles, and also with Alameda County. My old department may put them out to,
A lot of them use a government.
yeah,
So
I'm not sure, but I could
We're trying
check.
to watch those.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm friends with the chief at Alto, I could check with him too. They're basically the whole Alameda County, they cover, they've got it huge.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay with white, only because we're putting our decal on it.
it makes it easier not to, you don't want
Yeah.
to paint anything.
Most of them that I've seen do not come with radio equipment, and if it does, it's because it's outdated. And a lot of agencies have used UHF stuff, which won't do us any good. So we will probably have to purchase a radio, which is that much, cost, but, and then there'll be some additional costs for getting it here depending on where it comes from. Vinny and I can drive someplace local or even fly to Portland and drive it back, or I don't mind driving up there and driving back. Plus driving it back gives us a chance to kind of go worthy it. But so when we get to item E, we'll talk about the dollar amounts. But that's kind of where we're at. We've made some contact. We found that, 15,000, 20,000 is not going to get you much. It's going to be dependable and not have a, 500,000 miles on it.
Okay.
That's it.
Or it's going to be in those years we're trying to stay away from. Yeah.
So we'll move into item B, which is the Mid-Rogue Fire District Executive Director job posting to discuss the extending the job opening as it was delayed. So I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but since it's an agenda item, do we want to extend the posting date to make it the full 14?
What would that involve if we said we want to extend it because now we need to re-advertise?
But I don't know if we need to re-advertise, but just.
Extend it
Oh, okay.
due to a late posting?
Yeah, I would suggest that.
20.
Which is almost, it's almost.
To the 27th?
Does that give us enough time to review applications and decide who we want to bring in for questioning?
Depends without being modified. Based on some of our discussion. If we have, continue the application period to the 27th. We gave them our review and interviews the week, it's 2 weeks, of March 2nd through the 13th, which will allow us some flexibility. Candidates, will give us some time to review applications as a board, maybe some pre-screening of applicants. And prior to bringing, let's see, our scheduling actual interview. Then background reference checks, March 16th through the 27th. Medical and drug screening, which this is a good chunk of time, but March 30th through April 3rd. Tentative job offers or official job offers. So you give tentative to full background and reference checks. Medical and drug screening, March 30th through April 2nd. The 3rd, excuse me, you give official job offer the week of the 6th.
May 1st is the hire date. Would be May 4th. We'll start on Friday, May 4th. Those dates sound a lot better to me.
Okay, so what did you have for interview? Yeah, interview dates?
Vacation period.
Okay, 27th at 5.
Review and interviews. Review our board to review our applications and conduct interviews. March 2nd through the 13th.
Okay,
And then background and reference checks, March 16th through the 27th.
May 7th?
And we could, depending on, like I said, we need to have a little more discussion on background. Just from a logistics standpoint, but the 16th through the 27th, if we're getting backgrounds, a background report completed in 24 to 48 hours, we don't need 2 weeks to do that background. I don't suspect that we need the 2 weeks for the reference checks either. I think 2 weeks gives us a little bit of flexibility there, which I'm leaning to having a little more flexibility and being a little more rigid. And then the medical and drug screening, March 30th to April 3rd. Something that, I mean, that's, to do this background check, and to do medical and drug screens, we go into contract with Asante Health, which that's who we use local, and the background company, I can't think of the name right now, but we go into contract with them for service. So what that initial contract looks like is that we need to sign up and recognize we want to use you for our background checks. And then I believe it's $50 per individual. For like if we want to include GMB and credit, I think it's $100 per person. But I need to set that up so that that they build the district.
Do they have like a retainer fee or anything, or is it just to get the billing and paperwork and all that?
Here's the other thing. Okay, I believe that SBA, with us being SBA members, they get by as a part of the contract per year, is there this works, they're partnership with this deal? So I would look at expand on that and see if that is an available option for us, but I believe it is, since, it might be purple, I don't recall, I think we have 5 for SDO, if we want it to be $100 per person, if we want to run through its credit and the checks and.
Okay. And that contract can be set up through SDO, or is that going to be through the company directly?
So, something could be.
Right, but the reference.
I mean, but I do organization completing background, to the background investigation for the review of the report, which we get back to the report. So, I don't know the explicit detail of that, but I can.
What do you have for final on that, the targeted on
May 4th? May-
May 4th would be a start date, negotiating.
Oh, yeah, so then,
The week,
What week do we want to start negotiations? I'm assuming.
the medical director, April 3rd, and then, I mean, basically the rest of April.
So,
The 6th through the 24th. Yeah,
Well,
24th or the 30th.
is there,
I'm gonna go to the envelope. Negotiate back and forth.
Yeah.
So let's not push it all the way to May 4th, but
So, okay.
in the 17th.
So if medical director is completed April 3rd, we can get the job offer April 6th. Pending negotiation, pending contract negotiation, so. Yeah.
Job offers. April 6th.
So as a contract employee, how's the payroll? I don't know. If we're doing contracts, we didn't have to pay taxes out. So we would need a payroll service.
1099?
That's
Part of the contract negotiation, yeah.
Would be contract employee. Look at it. I don't know. the answer.
So I think that would be something that we'd have Ralph look into and maybe talk to a payroll company, local payroll company,
Because
because
it-
we're on the right page of the thought.
They don't get taxed.
Yeah, so their contract, it's kind of in a way like
How do we work with
Yeah.
Cassie?
And she's a 1099.
So we see it. Full position. Yeah.
Job offer on 4/6, that gives some time to do.
Yeah, I think payroll is gonna have to be handled through a services company. You don't want to deal with that.
No. No, we don't. So, is there a
Maybe Cassie
reason,
knows some recommendations for
is there
people we could use and not use.
a reason we need to wait till May 4th for them to start? If,
No, he was just saying,
if we're going to be offering them a job and on the 6th, or depending on negotiations, if we negotiate it fairly quickly.
he was just saying 17 or by the 17th start.
Okay, okay, I missed. did
That's
you
what he's
just-
saying. Yeah, he was
did you
just saying
say
bump it
that?
up
Oh,
2 weeks.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I was thinking of something else at the time. Sorry.
Potentially start by the time, that's what he said.
We changed that. I didn't catch that.
Do we need a resolution to follow the contract or for the staffing committee to enter into contract with these agencies? I think we do.
That's why I was just.
Believe we can-
Before we do that, are you willing to make those calls to Asante to set that up?
Yeah, that's where. I was going with that.
So we can make a,
Something like
Well, before we make that resolution or that suggestion.
yeah.
just do.
So without objection, can
We
we?
just do it as a motion.
Definitely has a motion.
We need to, no, we'll,
No, it has to be motion.
yeah, so I would,
Hold on, let's make sure that, it's off
So-
health.
I would entertain a motion to allow Director McGowan, Director Benetti to seek contracts with Asante Occ Health and the background company, whether it be SDAO or a private company.
I'll make a motion in that wording that you just said for them to do.
Can I suggest it? You suggest it.
I was just waiting for the floor for discussion.
Well, we need a second first. Yeah. So if there's.
I'll second it. with the
Okay.
modification.
All right, so I have a motion and a second and open for discussion.
I think instead of making our personal name, it should be our function as a staffing committee. So if one of us gets replaced at some point, this resolution, I'm assuming it's going to be under resolution.
It'll just, this is just a motion to allow you two to move forward with it.
I think it should
as
be
a
a staffing committee.
staffing committee.
I'll make that adjustment to my motion that the staffing committee will move forward with the contracts for Asante and Backer.
Okay, so you wish to amend the motion? So the motion on the floor is to allow the staffing committee to move forward with contracting with Asante Occ Health and the background check company or SDAO. Correct?
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion, and was there a second on the amended motion?
Randy did again.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, further discussion? All right, hearing none, we have that worded correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Director McGowan,
Yes.
Director Benetti,
Yes.
Director Weibling,
Yes.
Director Allenby,
Yes.
and Director Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay.
I'm trying to find, Carol and I just had thorough backgrounds done locally, and it was $50 each, and they were done in 24 hours. But I'll try to find the name of the
That's very similar.
company, and, yeah, they stuck back.
To make a motion to have him payroll or just. We have time.
We have time for that one.
Okay.
So we can wait. Okay, so no need to do any type. So without objection, we will alter the dates of the application process. Correct? Or we need a motion on that one?
I would like a motion on that one
Okay.
as well. And then can we include fire chief and if we're doing that or not, please?
Fire chief.
Western Fire Chiefs.
Oh, Western Fire Chief. Okay. So let's work on a couple different motions so they're not all put into one. So I would entertain a motion to advertise with Western Fire Chiefs as as presented 2 weeks ago. We have any?
Motion that we enter, excuse me, that we advertise in Western Fire Chiefs, what timeframe we want?
So we would just do till the 27th, follow this one.
Well, to approve the dates of the 5th to the 27th. So, yeah. Tomorrow, set
Do the 10th to the 27th? Okay. So I have a motion and a second to advertise with Western Fire Chiefs from the 10th to the 27th. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Director McGowan? Director Benetti?
Yes.
Director Weidling?
Yes.
Director Ownby?
Yes.
And Director Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, and then I would entertain a motion to adjust the application period as follows. Application deadline 27th, interviews March 2nd through the 13th, background and reference checks March 16th through the 27th, medical drug screening March 30th through April 3rd, job offer April 6th, and tentative start date of April 20th.
I'll make that motion if he read it.
Those dates.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, take the roll, please.
Director McGowan? Director Benetti?
Yes.
Director Weidling?
Yes.
Director Ownby?
Yes.
Director Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. And that covers the motions for item B.
One quick clarification. So the Indeed, I signed up for the free account. Do you guys want to continue that and upgrade? Or
What is the cost of the upgrade?
$99, I believe.
$99, and then that is good for 1 year?
Did
So we can
that
use-
last meeting?
It wasn't a cost that was talked about. I just,
Oh, okay. I say, I remember we did talk about 2 different platforms.
So let me make one more,
I think that one could be approved without
Without objection?
Yeah.
Okay, so without objection, I would move that we move forward with Indeed for the $99 per year so that it can be reused later as well. Any objections?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, we'll move forward with that. And myself or Director Weidling or Ownby to give you the card when it's time to do that, we can get that
So
set
you
up.
say we already have the account made, right?
Yes.
So I can get the password and log in and throw my
There you go.
card
Correct.
information.
That works.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. All right, so moving out of item B, moving into 6C, district boundary discussion. So, Director Ownby and myself attended a meeting with Applegate in regards to the boundary that they had submitted during our, I guess, legal proceedings with them prior to us taking positions on the board. And I'm going to try to share these here. So if we look at this picture, and I think I need to share this with Zoom as well, do I not?
Yeah, share screen.
Yeah, share. Let's see, share. share this one. Here we go. Okay, share. So here we are. All right, so
That's the one we're talking about right now.
yes. So what we see that's in orange are the properties that are outside of their 7 miles that were originally included in their annexation. So as they redid, they had a GIS specialist go through and they found that there's 113 properties that are outside of that 7 mile distance from the station that they're allowed to per ORS 478702 to annex. So these properties that are in orange are not in our district at this time either. Since our boundary was created based on what they submitted, our founding documents do state that our district covers all properties outside of existing districts. So I reached out to DOR and they, as of today, had not got back to me other than the fact that he had mentioned he needed to run this by his boss because this is a unique situation. Whether or not they can just amend our original boundary or if something else needs to be done. So still waiting to hear back from them on that. But my question to the board is, should we move forward and bring this to our legal counsel?
So let's go to the legal counsel just because Applegate's gonna protest if we,
No, so Applegate has said that these ones are not in their 7.
So the orange dashed line that you guys see on these maps that we printed out, the orange dash line is what their consultant came back and said, these are the 7. And basically came down to she pulls the 7 miles by paved roads to the driveway access or a certain amount of frontage of the property
Yeah.
on the roadway. So when you look at some of these orange ones, like particularly Robmar, so when they get to 7 miles, it's like right in here at the beginning of these 2 properties, but they're green because they're in that 7 mile, where these ones are not. They're completely out, the access of them. So like the end of Robmar is going to be unprotected right now, or whatever we call it, orange.
Outside.
Yeah, outside. What's that?
But they're gonna have the first part.
Correct. So that was one of the areas she brought up, is that the 7 miles actually ended just to where these 2 properties are covered, but the next ones are out. Same thing with Homewood, is that there's no access through. The old bridge fell down and they never replaced it. There's no intention to ever replace it. So for them to be able to come all the way down and say the 7 miles ended right here at the end of these green properties, but they can't go around and pick up all these ones that would have fit the radius. So that was they hired her to do. In fact, the one Tom's looking at is Murphy Creek.
so just for my clarification, if Applegate's not protesting, why is legal got to review it?
So those are not in our district boundary because our district boundary was created based on that original map, which had those as Applegate. So right now, technically, those properties are in limbo. They are unprotected area.
So what is legal gonna do is what I'm asking.
Well, to how to proceed moving forward, does legal need to work with DOR to get those put back into our boundary through an amendment? Or is there an annexation process that we would have to go through now? And that's what we're waiting to hear back also from the DOR.
And then one other clarification on the map, the dark highlight, that basically highlighted dark.
The black ones.
No, they've already signed an agreement to become Applegate.
Yeah.
So there's a few of those that they're even like, well, now we're.
So my question to that is, was their assumption that it was the potential boundary, but they weren't actually contracted with Applegate until they had a need for a permit or had an incident or
That's the
something?
way it all.
Yeah, so those
Right.
were people who actually signed the paper to annex themselves.
I'm just wondering though, if the change of status, that they're actually not in their potential annexation area, if that would change their opinion about whether they actually wanted to be in that.
Oh, yeah, it would be a letter that would have to
In
be
that
sent out.
meeting,
to
they
them.
didn't talk about that. They just said that they recognized some of the properties responded for the general letters. So that they also said they were going to follow up with their legal and find out.
Right now,
Take this off.
they have to respond here because they're under contract.
What's that?
Right now, Applegate has to respond here because they're under contract.
Well, right now, rural metro responds to all those properties.
So is all the orange, when we use the word protected, areas? So that is what we're talking about.
Just the orange, there's 113 of them.
So here's the.
Plus a 40-acre parcel.
But how do we propose annexation to a district that's not taxed? What are they annexing themselves into?
A district boundary.
So, legal.
Yeah, and that's why I would like to seek legal counsel on all of this. Yeah,
If they are not.
well, they,
This is not, so orange is not boundary of fire boundary?
No.
no,
But it's not theirs either
because, so what was presented was this map, let's say all this was green, there was no orange. That was what was presented when the annexation took effect. Our boundary was adjusted to meet what they proposed. Now, they've found that those properties are not supposed to be in theirs, but they're also not in ours now because our boundary was created based on the original supplement, the map that they supplement
So the
or
orange was
submitted.
originally,
No, the orange was there, and the orange was green on that map. Based on their, so that our district was drawn on their map. So the orange was originally green.
Prior to any annexation from Applegate, those would have been in our district.
That's what we went to court over.
That's what was, yes,
Was involved in the court case, sorry.
yeah. So because they submitted a map that was wrong at the time, not knowing it, our boundary was created wrong. So that's where DOR is trying to figure out what their step is and how we can fix it. However, I want to know if at the same time we should get a hold of our legal and have them start working on this as well.
I propose that we move forward without objection to have Mark talk to legal to follow up on this.
Because these are all limbo right now.
Correct.
I agree with that, and I have one thing that I would have to go back and read the regs on that, but it seems to me like if they didn't join the fire district and they waited until they had an event or tried to get a permit, it would be more costly for them, where those that signed annexation agreement wouldn't fall under that category. So with the understanding that now we're in an annexation area, but we're not paying them yet until we have an event, we get a permit, or, any of those things that require it. We're okay, but as soon as we have an event, it gets real expensive. So they signed an agreement to prevent that from happening. So then they're gonna start paying the tax on it. Now that they're not in that annexation area, I'm just wondering if their mind hasn't, would change and they go, wait a minute, if we don't have to sign this annexation agreement because we're not in their taxing district, then we want to pull that.
Right. And
We
they-
did
They were
discuss that a little
discussing
bit.
about sending those addresses a letter stating that they were mistakenly put into the district.
I hope they send it to everybody.
The
ones outlined-
all the ones in orange
And orange
would
are the ones
receive a letter, but the ones outlined in black, that's voluntarily annexed themselves.
The outline black in the orange, not the outline black in the green.
No, outline black and.
Correct.
They did talk about that they need to do the right thing and talk to those property owners.
That would be my expectation is that, they just put in notifications that, sorry, but we don't know what's gonna happen because we can't take them back right now until we get a modification of the boundary, which is what you need to seek legal counsel.
Right. And the thing is, in our formation documents, it states, anything outside of a current fire district is part of our district. So because of that annexation piece and what was submitted, it took it out. However, my question to the DOR was, since our documents state everything outside and their map was faulty, should we not be able to just amend our boundary in that area to absorb those back?
Doesn't that state that?
Yeah, but we have contemplated.
Well, it's a weird line because our boundary was created based on a faulty map. So that's where we need legal representation to make sure it's done correctly. Correct.
And
Correct.
the faulty map was developed by.
Well,
By their consultant, they have to do
whoever
it.
did it, yeah. So that was my question to the board was, should we move forward with, because it's gonna cost us,
gonna cost
obviously,
us, but
to go to legal, but I think getting them involved at this point would probably be a good idea.
Also, we not only get them involved, but let them come to some solution.
Correct.
Like what do we need to do differently?
Correct, yeah.
I agree. I think that was determined with. no
Without objection.
Without objection,
Yep.
we ask Mark to move forward.
I will contact Kendall and move forward.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay,
Get 8 hours of legal.
yeah, well, our legal is actually familiar with the
Yeah, we
whole
might
thing.
need to use that email for something else.
Okay, so moving out of item C, and we'll move into item D, which was added today to the agenda. Digital storage. So basically, what we need to have is a place where all of our policies and our resolutions and our job descriptions and everything is all stored in one place that we could all have access to, that is secure. Like a Google Drive, only different. Like the county does use what's called Laserfish, which is very secure and a good system. Don't know what the cost is of that or what it would cost for our boundary or for our district to obtain something like that. So is that something the board would like us to look into and bring back at our next meeting?
Definitely. It'd be a lot easier for us to access it online through login versus having it on a laptop in the office.
We do currently have a Google Drive and it is set up with minutes, agendas and policies and stuff. But Google Drives aren't really that secure.
I wouldn't.
Is that a secure?
Yeah, that's.
Dropbox is also? Oh, really? Unlimited?
That's huge.
Okay.
Yeah. The big tetra, you can get 2 tetrabytes, the 1 tetrabyte.
Okay.
Space.
So should we look into those two options, Laserfish or Dropbox? Okay, and then we can present something to the board next meeting? Okay. All right. Any more discussion on digital storage? All right, moving into item E, vehicle acquisition resolution. I think we should possibly create a resolution, and we would have to, I believe we'd have to actually, well, could we do it with we could probably do it with a motion, right? Without a resolution, just do a motion for a dollar figure. It doesn't need to be a complete resolution for that.
I mean, just for transparency, I like to have like the resolution number and title and everything on an
should do that,
agenda.
okay. So let's create a resolution. If the vehicle acquisition team wishes to draft that language for resolution, I can send you the template.
Yeah, you were.
And then basically what it's for is to allow the vehicle and equipment acquisition team to be able to move forward with purchasing a vehicle without coming back to the board, as long as we set a price. Put some, yeah.
The other issue is how we have to pay for it.
And then, yeah, well,
Pay for 30,000 on your drive.
Should be, I don't know.
I can double check.
We can double
I'll follow
check.
up, double check.
If not, we can, we can cut a check also.
I worry about fees and stuff, or
Yeah.
paying 1 or 2%
Our
on that
fees.
that money, that's a whole lot.
Well, we have the ability to check,
Yeah.
but if it's like an online auction and they want a card to hold it, so you can.
Oh, sure.
bid on it,
Yeah.
You can do that. But maybe we need to call the bank and just find out what their, I can't remember what our.
Yeah, I'm not-
set up.
So the resolution needs to set the cap amount for the purchase.
Right.
That we want to include the estimate of getting the vehicle back, or is that gonna be a separate item?
For transportation of the vehicle?
So that it's, depending on where it's at, it's gonna make a difference on how
Right.
much we're gonna have. And I really don't know how much it's gonna
So
cost
we
to
could-
transport something.
I know you can transport a car from out of Texas for, I'd say, well, right around $11 to $17. I was looking at transporting a water tender, and it was like $1,700 from Arizona. So,
You could always do, since the transportation of that vehicle, does that need to be set up at the time of purchase?
not necessarily. One thing we did talk about is transportation could be, Randy or I or someone that could get a ticket and fly down there and drive the car home.
Because if it's close enough to drive, we take, we drive it. Now we've got a case vehicle, something happens, we get ready on the way home. If not, well, somebody flies over that, drive it back, grab a toolbox and.
We just hate to put in the description.
So we could put-
Randy and I talked about not putting in the description transportation fees because we could end up buying one in Eugene.
Right.
And it's real simple.
So-
Versus buying one Texas or Southern California, and then it's like, that's a little more complicated.
We can just approve those fees as needed.
Yeah, and I would just say, keep in mind, if we had a $3,000 transportation expense, that's, if we fly him down there and he drives it back, we gotta cover a flight and then motel
Hotel,
meals,
and
things
then,
like that. So
fuel.
$3,000 is kind of that top number. I don't think it would be more than that to get a vehicle back. So if we say we're gonna put a cap on a vehicle at 35,000, then we're looking at possibly up to 38 or $38,000
Yeah,
expenditure.
I say keep the transportation fee separate from the
Okay.
vehicle cap.
And I would feel more comfortable because then now I can come back and say, well, we bought a vehicle, it's only gonna cost us $500 to go get it.
So,
Some cost for putting decal.
and then decal, yeah.
And a radio.
That's kind of at home.
Yeah, it's just still more additional cost.
Yeah.
So the resolution will just be the purchase cap of the vehicle itself, not the additional equipment.
And that's because it's gonna be above what our spending limits are.
Right.
Right now, anything above 10,000 is asking for 3 informal bids. The problem with that is we can't take a vehicle that's in an auction site and go get 3 informal bids on it because so that's why we're asking to go outside of our normal expenditures and set us a limit to be able to.
The other thing is when I spoke with the Brindle Fire, he has, they have quite a big equipment. He asked if that price range, if 30 to 40 was a reasonable, wasn't within our purchasing range. I can get back to him and say yes or no, and, he's willing to do some footwork as well to find something. And I can put some parameters on it, what 2018 or newer, Tahoe or Ford, don't really care. Once I'm fully set up, we don't want anything on the East Coast, that kind of, parameters.
Yeah.
White preferred. But I have to have a number to be able to tell him as well, so.
Right. Okay, we will put that on next agenda.
So I'll grab a
So,
resolution using the template
Yep.
and what maximum out we put on that.
Yeah, so I would we probably need a motion
Yeah.
for that resolution. So I would entertain a motion to put a $35,000 cap on the purchase of a vehicle.
I'll make the motion that we put a $35,000 cap on purchase of a vehicle, transportation, and be negotiated later.
Correct.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, take the roll, please.
Director McGowan?
Yes.
Director Benetti? Director Weibling?
Yes.
Director Ownby?
Yes.
And Director Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right. Any further discussion on vehicle acquisition resolution?
Thanks, guys, for
Okay.
kind of the holding us back for finding the right.
All right. And then item F, a resolution allowing the board president position to utilize legal counsel as needed. So I guess we could have used that for the district boundary part too. Well, we should,
I think what we're doing is trying to make sure that Mark has, the president.
or the president.
Has the ability to make that phone call at any point, any moment, have a conversation, and not wait for 2 weeks to find out if it'd be okay to call.
Without a special meeting.
Yeah, and that's a given that has to be open. Especially when you get into negotiations and things like that, they need to be able to.
Well, what I found out from my training is it's very important that you, we as a board, do resolutions on powers of individuals to act upon matters for the board. Otherwise, you're acting by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yes.
It's better to create the resolution and be safe than to take a chance. So that's the reason for me putting that on there.
So does that need to be drawn up as a resolution or
Yes.
just a motion?
And I think in that resolution, we should put a cap of hours before we need to come back to the board,
Sure.
because that could get very spendy.
What's a reasonable amount of time? 4 hours?
So if maybe, I don't know, figure takes a few hours to present whatever it is, discuss it, and then find out from legal if, she's 380 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, hers is 380 an hour. But then she would be able to come back and say, well, this is going to be this many hours. And then at that point, it could come back to the board for approval to move forward with legal, I think. I don't think we should give a blanket authority to sit there and run up a whole bunch of legal bills. So we should put a cap on it somehow. So I don't know what, we want to do a 4-hour cap?
I think 4 hours that's quite a bit of time for.
Yeah. Before, so a 4-hour cap before board approval. Does that sound fair?
I think it needs to be higher than that because in a 2-week period between our board meetings, you could need more than 4 hours of legal review before you get the, so I would say we make it 15 or 20 just because unknown what's out there, if it's something that he needs to work with them, in a 14-day period, 4 hours isn't going to go very far.
What about 10?
10 would be $3,800.
Yeah.
10 hours.
And if we do purchases, it's anything under 10, 10,000 doesn't require anything special out there. So that's why I'm saying 4 just doesn't seem like it's a very big number.
Yeah,
That's-
one call could eat 4 hours of time.
Yeah, that's like, because not only the call, but it's going to be the research that she's going to have to do
Yeah.
to follow up on that call. And that's why I'm saying I don't think that's enough time.
26 hours.
Our last invoice from them was for 0.6 of an hour, we just emailed,
Yeah.
and that was the one that was $200. So just emailing back and forth.
Yeah,
You don't
0.6 of an
Yeah,
hour.
just put time. I don't want to see
Okay,
it.
so
It's
let's
not
say,
the time.
so the thing is, so now if Bill gets involved, he's for what? Four something an
I
hour?
think it's 400.
Is he 400 even?
He's 400.
He's 400, okay.
So let's just say
If we cap
$400
it
an
at-
hour.
If we cap it at 20 hours, that keeps us under the 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a 20-hour cap. Okay, so, draft it. So I would entertain a motion.
I would say that you need to write that resolution that the president has that authority
Right,
and the vice president in his absence.
correct. There you go.
Because we don't want to put it just on you and then now you have a
Right.
picture for vacation and something comes up. Not that I would call them to do anything outside of you, I just,
Yeah.
to do it in your behalf.
Yeah, so in absent, yeah,
Yeah.
vice president in absent, okay, perfect, okay. So I would entertain a motion to create a resolution for the board president to utilize legal counsel up to a 20-hour cap with the VP having that authority in absence of the president.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we create a resolution that allows the person in the president position on the board to have up to 20 hours of time with our legal counsel. And in lieu of the president being absent, then it goes to the vice president position.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussions? Hearing none, take the roll, please.
Director McGowan? Director Benetti?
Yes.
Director Weidling?
Yeah.
Director Omby?
Yes.
And Director Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we have moved through new business and moving into correspondence. Any review of letters, emails, or documents received? Have we gotten anything? Nothing?
Just bills.
Just bills, always good bills. Okay, moving out of 7 into 8, additional matters of the board. Open floor for board reports, requests, or comments.
Next board meeting, I would like to be on Zoom. I will be,
You can do that?
Yeah, I will be absent the next one because we're leaving to drive to Portland to fly out that day. And out the next morning.
Okay. So
I
you,
might be able to tune in on Zoom from the hotel. I will try.
I'll make it a point to be on Zoom so that I'll be here for that.
Mark's gonna be here, Tom's gonna
Yeah.
be here.
so you'll be on Zoom and possibly Zoom.
Yeah. It's a place we regularly stay at if they're usually car. I've always been helping out.
Okay, yeah, and then just remind me to send you guys the Zoom link. It's the same one each week, so should work just the same.
And then I just had one other thing. Cassie was working on Verizon. Is everything going okay with that? Do we need to make any changes?
No, we're good.
Only thing I have is, we had decided a few meetings back to join the Chamber of Commerce. The only thing I'm going to ask from Director Weidling this evening is a check for joining the Chamber of Commerce for $310. Gives us a bronze level. That's the lowest one they have.
Supposed to go to a readers meeting on Wednesday.
So there you go. You'll go as a member.
Well, yes and no. I'm looking at joining. in
Oh,
business
it's
too.
for the year. Okay.
The last time I went to the
So-
readers, I did give them an Applegate card.
An Applegate card?
Or an sorry, I was looking at the maps.
I don't know which card you're giving away, but, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 310 made to Grants Pass Chamber of Commerce.
That's just their entry level.
Yeah, that's the bronze level one. And I'll get that taken care of tomorrow. And then any additional matters? Okay,
Basically just a little update on the conference that I attended. One of the presenters there, named was Liz Lomas. They work and only take 16 agencies a year, but they have a 93% success rate in generating basically databases path and generating really stuff like that. They're very picky about who they pick, but they have a pretty high success rate. I have all of her contact information. There's another agency, Wymack Rural Fire Protection District, that's in the same boat we are. And she connected me with Chief McGill there and Director Weiss, and I haven't physically talked to them yet. She sent an email to them and myself so I can talk to them, but that's something that I'll just be trying to gain information on. I attended the legislative general session. Wow, it's just crazy the stuff that's out there and it's happening all the bills. I have a list of all of them. And I will, once we get a drive set up to where we can, share stuff like that. In the meantime, I'll try to email back because I don't believe that's out of line as far as, the bills. I just have them listed and so I have to find them. The stuff that I attended was the public meeting laws, board member best practices, communicating to win ballot measures, when it hits the fan, district responses to governance challenges, governance leadership, mastering board meeting facilitation, budgeting 101 for Oregon special districts, and then the 2006 legislative session. All the presentations there, I got a pretty cool schedule.
Yeah.
But all the presentations there were just amazing. I recorded every one of them with my audio recorder, and I've converted them to text documents so I can share those with everybody too at some point if anybody's interested. So.
Are there any bills coming through that affect fire districts?
Yeah. Good. Let's see. 478.010, the formation territory that may not be included in districts. 478.150, conference with state forestry department required prior to formation of district or annexation of territory. Let's see. 478.155, formation of districts with tax zones, contents of formation, petition, and order creating district, determination of tax levy in each zone or boundary changes. Or 478, 260, fire chief headquarters, fire evacuation routes, emergency medical services. That's in there. 270, report of director, state report to the cooperation and uniform forms. Not sure about that one. This one, 300, is contracting with others to provide facilities and services for fire protection or road lighting authority or open burning and fire permit rules. 310, response to fire or public safety incidents outside of its own territory by district of municipality liability cost. 315, response to fire or public safety incidents in Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area. Payment cost, but that doesn't affect us down here. Only a couple of 665, withdrawal of territory from a district, inclusion in forest protection district assessment. There's out of scope on a couple of these, so I'm not familiar with what.
And is that a House bill or a Senate bill? And what number is that? That it's,
40.
so those are the ORSs?
Yes. It's all Senate Bill 2522.
Senate bill, what was it?
2522.
2520, okay, so that is the one. So in that too, I believe it has or no, actually that might have already gone through. Never mind, disregard, that was in a previous one, I believe.
972, application by district to state fire marshal for identification name. 980, identification name for district formed by consolidation or merger of districts. And 982, reuse of names of dissolved districts. Basically, a note on that is Oregon State Fire Marshal is to clean up the language to modernize and make it consistent. So there's a few things on there that are pretty important.
So 972 sounds like we might need to.
And the audio recording, when I haven't actually looked at the conversion, the speaker or two speakers for the general session, and get a lot of good information that's not on here. That she talked about certain bills and sponsoring them and who's sponsoring them and so on and so forth. So I will get out. I can't send it the audio file because it's too large. It was like 48 minutes. But if we get a drive that I can put that on, I'll hold it. I might be able to put it on my Google Drive and send a link and let you guys do it. I'll try that and see. But anyway, that'll be coming out.
Dropbox.
Okay, that's what that was.
A lot of great stuff. It's been a number of years since I've been to an SBO conference, and I was impressed with the quality of the speakers and everything.
Nice. I'm glad you were able to go to that.
Yeah. Look forward to future training. Some of the tracks, and I think Tom was on it earlier with the sheet that he had. You guys attended the training earlier before I was on board. these classes list what part of those qualifications there are. So I try to align my conferences up with, the water district director's track. Unfortunately, they overlap some of them at the same time, so I couldn't hit all of them. So I picked what I thought would be more relevant for here right now, for me personally. So yeah, look forward to, hopefully in the future they'll have some more. I think some of them are online. What I did learn is there are some, and I'm trying to get into Tom's world, I'm pretty sure, but there are some classes that are required only one time during your term, and there are some that are required, I think it's either 3 months or 6 months after you're appointed, which we've all met that. That was the stuff that you sent me on. So there are some different time frames in there for some of the different classes. Great stuff. I think that, for us, it just shows that we're serious about what we do here. And I think we should all try to capture as many of those as we can. And some of those classes for the track are actually online, you can just pay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be present for them.
I know OFDDA is in November again, and it will be at Hood River this year.
Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah. So this you can download from SDAO, and then you can keep track yourself of what you're taking, so.
I'll be getting certificates for all those classes, and I think we have a sign-up sheet, and so they'll send us certificates to, I think I used the 5566 Monument Drive as a mailing address when I registered, whoever the registered address is. So you'll probably be getting those in the mail, Cassie, at some point.
Inbox outside the door.
That's, try to keep up with it. I'll
Help out.
forward them on to Tom so he can be our training officer.
Nice.
Got good experience.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything else for anyone? Yeah, so we'll do the signatures here for the LGIP. I do have one more thing real quick. Moving forward with the acoustic tiles. Is that something you were going to?
Yes, I'm going to do a little more research before we pull the trigger to buy. I want to make sure that we're going to get the right thing we need for the ceiling mount versus a wall mount. So
Okay.
I don't want to purchase those and find out they were the wrong ones.
Right.
So I'm trying to find a online consultant without having to come out here and physically look at the building. Because
This one?
I was going to go through Zero or Just Web and see if they had some recommendations, but like I said, I don't want to order and find out the wall style instead of ceiling style.
Word of advice, there's some women that are going to be bringing quilts in here, they're going to hang on the wall.
Well, we're going to look at ceiling stuff.
Yeah.
Just let you know though that.
Oh, we're not.
If we take the wall space, we're.
No, I don't feel like the wall space is available at all in here.
No, I think we were focusing on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Those have helped a lot. Yes.
Curtains made a difference.
Yes. All right. Anything further? All right, I would move to adjourn this meeting at 7:03 PM without objection. All right, objection, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming.
Stop them.